Hi guys, District Behaviorist here. Today we're going to review supporting remote learning in the home. Before I start, I want to commend you all for all of your support, your help, your collaboration. It's one thing for our educators to run the remote learning through their, Zoom or their Teams, but you are the facilitator on the other side. You are just as important. Thank you for, being there to support your learner in, achieving this new style of learning. So thank you. All of your hard work and your collaboration does not go unnoticed, and it is extremely appreciated. So thank you. So as we get started, not knowing what our, new year is going to look like, I think it's really important that, we keep some things in the back of our mind if we are to be remote, things that we should really focus on in the months to come for remote learning to be successful. So I have attached this PowerPoint. This is just a funny clip that I've included that really, I think, showcases what remote learning was like in the beginning. I'm actually going to share a little snippet of it, but it's included in this PowerPoint in case you need to laugh. It's a good one. So here it goes.
At the bottom, our marriage counseling Zooms are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Khan Academy and also the district site.
Hi. I just want to tell you that I really am so grateful for everything you've ever done. I regret saying or have any thoughts that teachers have a cush job because you guys get the summers off, because really, I've got 2 students right now and they're so mean.
So I just figured that this would be a funny way to start our session. It's definitely, I'm sure a lot of us felt that way in the beginning. Even I felt that way in the beginning, where I was like, oh my gosh, we're switching, something that we've been used to doing with a desk, paper, pencil, materials, manipulatives, now was going completely remotely. So I think it was a shock for everyone. It was a huge adjustment. But now that I feel we're all in a good place, let's make it a better place to, facilitate that learning. So what we're going to review today, we're going to review setting up that environment, providing structure and routine, targeting on-task behavior during those work packets, homework, and then also targeting the on-task behavior during the Zoom and live instruction. These are 2 different components of the remote learning, and, they're equally as important. Some students may do fantastic on the Zoom and live instruction, and you'll actually see an increase on their on-task behavior. Whereas students who are doing those work packets and homework, they may be struggling, or, vice versa. It all depends on the individual needs of the learner. So I'm sure right now you're thinking, okay, my learner is definitely struggling with on-task behavior with Zoom, or my learner's really struggling with the work packets, the homework, etc. So we're going to talk about both today. So setting up the work environment, I feel like I sound like a broken record when I talk about this, but it is so important. Our learners, when they come to school, they have a designated workspace. They know exactly where they sit. It's labeled with their name, or, after time they get to know, okay, this is my workspace, and they pair that with work. It's really important to create that workspace that when your child sits there, he knows or she knows it's work time. And something that's really important in setting up your workspace is making sure that you have minimal distractions. I know that in the home it can be crazy and it's not ideal. I'm not gonna lie, I had to record this 3 times already because my dogs have been barking. So just try the best you can. It's not going to be perfect, but all we can do is just, hope for the best and, try to set up a space where, for that time frame, it's going to be limited noise distraction. TV is off. If you're taking phone calls, maybe take phone calls in the other room, and etc. So we really want to designate a workspace. I know that we have, in the district, we offer flexible seating, and I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that we're offering flexible seating. But at the same time, I don't think that justifies, working on a couch. Just because when we work on a couch, are we really doing our best work? There's distractions, there's the TV, there's toys, there's other people sitting on the couch. And also when we're in school, we don't sit on a couch when we're doing our work. So if you're having concerns about the flexible seating component, then definitely reach out to your teacher on ideas on how we can make that workspace and incorporate some flexible seating opportunities. So here we go. So like I said, you want to designate a work area where it's quiet, limited distractions. I know that if I have the TV on, I am not paying attention. I just can't. It's very difficult for me. So make sure that you're limiting the distractions that are around, the noise level. And then also, try to incorporate resources that are going to be utilized during that live session. If your teacher is saying, okay, today we're going to be counting, and you have counters, then, make that available to limit the transitions of that student going back and forth to get those materials. And then, also provide some type of visual support, whether it be a visual schedule, a token board, or a timer. This will help the student become aware of the expectations, the work, and the break times. And listen, we are going to go into the visual schedules, but I don't want you to think, oh my God, she wants me to run a visual schedule in my house. No, I am most definitely not saying that. What I'm saying is that there should be some type of schedule when it comes to schoolwork time. I think that, in all of our classrooms in district, there is a visual schedule posted on the smartboard, the whiteboard, the chalkboard, wherever. The kids know that when they look at that visual schedule, it's telling them what the expectations are. And I think if we can somehow replicate and do the same for the home environment, I think we'll be in good shape. This will allow the student to know what the expectations are during work time, how long they may have to work, what they're doing before their designated work time, and what they're doing after. That will increase the motivation to complete that work. So I really think, incorporating some type of visual schedule during work time is a really beneficial resource to use, but we'll get into that more. So what I want you to remember about your work environment: limited distractions, a designated workspace. It should be the same every day. That child should know, okay, when I sit here, this is my workspace, this is where I'm going to work. I know that when I'm doing my work, I sit at a table, a designated space. I have all my materials, which limits me to get up and get distracted. Because even as adults, we definitely get distracted. I know that if I got up from my chair, I would start moseying around. I'd pet my dogs. I'd, maybe say, maybe I should make some coffee, and distract myself. But we want to limit those transitions. So adults, kids, same deal. Think about yourself on a smaller level. Think about what would distract you and incorporate that and utilize those concepts for your kids. And again, with providing that structure and routine, it's a good thing. We all benefit from having a routine. I'm not saying that your routine has to be, so rote where it creates inflexibility, but I do recommend that there is some type of routine and structure, during those work times. Okay, Johnny, it's time to do our math, English, and then science. And keep it that way, every day, so that, the student builds that routine and gets to know, okay, these are my expectations. This is what I need to do before I get that break or before I get that downtime. So again, providing that structure and routine, it improves that predictability. The children know what the expectations are. It provides that clear expectations. It promotes independence. You can leave a checklist while, if you have to go out, or, if you have to do the laundry, or, take a phone call for work. Providing that checklist right in front of that student during the workspace will remind that student what the expectations are. Okay, I need to do my math boom cards, then my reading, and then I'm done. And it creates balance when things are confusing. It gives, honestly, I always give myself a checklist just because I know what exactly needs to be done. I know that if I complete those things, then I can take that break, or, I can go outside for a minute, I can get a breather, things like that. So I think, I don't want you to think, oh, structure and routine is so bad. I think there needs to be a balance between being, providing that structure and routine and, that roteness. We can meet in the middle. And then it also reduces anxiety and behavioral difficulties. Again, so for students who are struggling behaviorally, if they don't know when they're getting out of this or when they're done, they're probably not going to want to comply. It's not going to be motivating for them to comply. So if we keep that checklist in sight, the student's going to know, okay, all I have to do is math, and then I get to do a preferred activity of, Edmark, or, my reading. And then after that, I have one writing assignment, and then I get my break. So it's really important to implement. And we can definitely go into that, further. Obviously this is a really broad, strategy to use, and it's going to have to be individualized and pinpointed to that specific learner. So if you have any questions on how to specifically create structure and routine within your home, please feel free to reach out to your teacher, case manager, behaviorist. We are here to help you. So again, school is routine and school is structure. And I don't expect the home to be run like a school, but we can provide some routine so that the child can, understand that, okay, remote learning has that structure component too. So with the visual schedules, I talked about it before, about how, in every class, we incorporated some type of schedule routine that was posted on that smart board. Gen Ed, special ed, wherever. It was in every single classroom. These strategies are for every single child. These are effective strategies. These are effective strategies for adults. Keeping that consistent schedule and routine. When students don't know what to expect, when they're bored or confused, they need that visual to tell them, okay, this is what's coming next. I need to do this. Okay, I see. If I can get through the 4 things, then I get a break on the 5th. So it's really important in increasing that productivity in students' work and greater learning. Again, I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record, but when students know what routines and activities to expect in the home, they're more likely to feel in control. And that is, that anxiety, that off-task behavior. That's why, I really push for all of our educators to use some type of visual schedule on their Zoom calls so that the kids know what to expect. And then also for the kids who are always asking, am I done yet? Am I done yet? All you have to do is point to that visual schedule. They'll see, oh, I'm not done yet. This is what I have to get done. So now we're going to switch gears to the on-task behavior and the academic engagement. So I provided some definitions of what on-task behavior and academic engagement looks like. It's looking at the materials, it's, complying with the task at hand, doing the same thing the teacher's doing, oriented to the teacher on the screen, completing the assignments, asking relevant questions, being being off task where you're not writing and not fulfilling those goals. So I want to talk about first what our teachers do and what I strive for all the teachers to do. And I think they've done a really great job in doing so. However, there are hiccups, and that's allowed. And, if you ever have to troubleshoot or collaborate on some ideas, please feel free to reach out to your teacher. They're more than willing to listen. So back to what teachers do. Providing those multiple means of engagement. Not every child learns the same. The teachers are going to know what works best for your child, how to maybe create a schedule of manipulating what's really preferred and moderately preferred and building that momentum to comply. And then also like working towards minimizing that non-instructional time. Whenever there's downtime, guess what's going to happen? That off-task behavior. Once the student's not engaged, the student's is going to look to do other things. And that's the same for us. If we weren't engaged in a task, you would start to look for other things to do. So really the teachers are, providing those multiple means of engagement, minimizing that downtime. The organization of that Zoom or that Teams meeting is organized. It's efficient, there's clear expectations. And then also very big, providing students with those tasks to be successful. If a student can't identify numbers, then a teacher is not going to start addition, because guess what's going to happen to that student? That student's going to shut down, not be engaged, walk away, the work is too hard, because they don't possess those prerequisite skills. So it's really important that that our teachers are providing those tasks to build that self-confidence and build that momentum for students to comply. And then, maximizing using those direct teaching procedures of students, calling on students, keeping them engaged as possible. I always say, ask questions, provide as many interactive resources as you can to maintain that student's focus. And again, like I said in the previous slide, if something isn't working in the home environment, reach out to your child's teacher to troubleshoot ideas. Your collaboration means the world. You know your child best. You know what works, what doesn't work. It's what's going to make us extremely successful. So please reach out. If ever you have a question, you need help in, implementing a procedure or strategy, reach out. We're here to help you. So now we're going to talk about promoting that on-task behavior during work packets and homework time. So as we go through the Zooms and the work packets, you're going to see that some of the strategies are very similar, because we're doing the same thing. We're trying to promote that on-task behavior. Your child may struggle in one area, like I said earlier, either the work packets or the Zoom, because guess what? Deep down, they're finding one of those modes of learning more reinforcing, and more engaging. So for your child who does awesome on the Zooms and struggles with the work packets, guess what? The Zooms are more interactive. They're more fun for that child. That child's engaged. That child likes what's being presented. But when you present those work packets, guess what? I don't like this. This is not interactive. This is boring. I don't want to do this. So you're going to see that. But what it comes down to is, depending on what mode of learning you're presenting, the child's ability to engage in that task is going to depend on that child's interest. So again, creating that structure routine, it's work time at the table, schedule to show what work needs to be completed. Now, for our younger learners, this could be pictures. For our older learners, words. For those learners who are in between pictures and words, it could be a checklist. You can write it on a dry erase board and just erase. You can do whatever is going to work best in your home. If you need your own visual schedule, please reach out to your teachers and behaviorists, where we would be more than happy to make you one based off the activities that you would do during your remote learning time. We're here to help. So a big thing. So for learners who are struggling with that on-task behavior for those work packets, you want to start with an easier preferred task. So let's just say Johnny really hates this one math worksheet, okay? But he loves to write. So what we would do is we would say, okay, Johnny, I would probably do 3 work activities. So I would start it off as um, one being maybe a writing activity, 2, a reading activity, and then 3, the math activity. And then right after that math activity, guess what they get? A break. This builds that momentum and that compliance. The student is starting off with a moderately preferred activity of that work, that writing. Okay, Johnny is writing, we're building that momentum, he's complying, we're reinforcing him. And listen, when I say reinforcing, it doesn't mean we're giving him cookies and snacks. We're saying, great job, I love how you're working, you're doing an awesome job. Once you finish these work tasks, and then we get our break, we get to go outside, we get the iPad, or etc. So start with that, moderately preferred, easy work task that Johnny's going to be successful with. And then as we move forward, we're going to present more challenging work. And then right after that challenging work, remember how I said Johnny hates math? Right after, when Johnny's working on that math sheet, he's going to see on his schedule, oh my God, if I finish my math work, I get my break. That's going to motivate Johnny to complete that work. And when I say motivation, I know that a big concern is I don't want, there always to be a payoff. And there doesn't have to be at all. But in the beginning, we need to take baby steps and we need to provide that payoff. Payoff won't be there forever. We fade it out. And that's our ultimate goal, to fade out that payoff. But for now, if your child's struggling, these are going to be the tools necessary to get to that point. Another idea is, providing engaging work tasks interspersed with those working activities. So let's just say, we'll stick with Johnny. Johnny loves his Zoom sessions, but hates that math worksheet. So maybe go back and forth. Math worksheet, then Zoom. Math worksheet, then Zoom, then break. Or, however you want to, whatever's going to work best for your schedule. Offering choice of activity. Johnny, do you want to do your math on boom cards today, or do you want to do it on paper? Providing means of reinforcement. Like I said, in the beginning, yes, we need the type of payoff. We need to provide that reinforcement. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times, that we all get means of reinforcement. We get paychecks to go to work. Even me, I'll be like, okay, just 5 more, and then I get a break. Or, maybe later, even with the diet, let's just say, I'll watch what I'll eat, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, I'll have my cheat meal. That's reinforcement for my good behavior of eating well. So we all have means of reinforcement because it works. It doesn't have to be there forever. Eventually you fade it out. But for the beginning, we want to make sure that these children are complying with our work demands. Another big one, which I highly recommend for our movers and busybodies, is providing movement before you start a seated work task. Maybe you start your day with PE or gym or doing a movement video before that child sits to do a longer work task. This will kind of get that movement out, get that body calm and regulated and ready to work. And again, setting clear expectations of what your child is supposed to be doing, providing praise whenever you catch your child in the act. I love how you're sitting. I love how you're looking. I love how you're doing your work. We're almost done. Providing that verbal praise is going to mean millions. You want to say, they want to hear what they're doing right. It feels good. I want to hear what I'm doing right. So providing praise is so powerful. Even in the beginning, if you just want to make note of it and just, start practicing, every so often, every minute or so, providing that verbal praise of, whenever you catch your child doing something well, it's really powerful. You'll see a tremendous difference. So again, what I want you to remember, creating that structure or routine. Schedule, starting with easier preferred tasks, engaging the work tasks, offering choice is another great strategy. Providing means of reinforcement is a must. Providing movement before starting a seated work task is another great strategy. And then again, reiterating structured routine, setting those clear expectations, providing that verbal praise. So now we go into our live Zooms. And again, you're going to see that a lot of these strategies are very similar to the ones that I've provided before. Because like I said, it's going to depend on your learner. It's going to depend on what mode of learning they most prefer. That's the one that they most prefer, you probably won't struggle with. It's the one that they least preferred, like those paper and pencil activities or Zoom, depending on your learner, or what they're going to struggle with. So for the teacher, our teachers need to provide those engaging activities when they're doing their Zooms. They need to minimize downtime, as we discussed. They need to call on that student, get that active student responding going, and so forth. That's their job. Also, for you, providing that schedule of what needs to be completed. The teacher will know to start with an easier preferred work task to build that momentum. The teacher will also know to offer choice of activity, providing means of reinforcement. And then this is a big one for those Zoom work tasks, providing movement. Again, stated in the last slide, but I think this is really important, especially because of the digital and the technology. It's a lot of strain on the body, the back, the eyes. It's important to get that movement in between those Zoom sessions because, as much as I love technology, I know that, it can do damage. It can do damage for your eyes, for your posture. I know that when I'm done with a Zoom, I even have to get up and stretch. So providing those movement breaks interspersed between those Zoom sessions is a really great strategy of how you can promote that on-task behavior. Again, providing that reinforcement and setting those clear expectations. Also, going back to the movement, and I promise you, our teachers, staff will be more than happy to accommodate, the planning of the sessions. But try to provide 10 to 15 minutes in between each Zoom session for your child to move, take a break, and get up from the screen. It can be a lot of screen time. And, it's a lot. And if a student has back-to-back Zooms, I am almost positive they're going to fade out. So it's really important to build in those breaks. Not only are they good for that movement, that regulation, but they're also good to motivate that student to get their work done so that they can take a break and then they come back, same thing, get your work done, and then you get to take a break. So there's lots of different positive effects of, interspersing those Zoom sessions. I know that if I'm sitting at my desk for a long time, guess what? My body hurts. I need to move. I'm fading. I'm starting to demonstrate off-task behaviors myself because I need to move. Same thing with our learners. They need to move, get up and go, get some exercise, walk around the house, stretching, and so forth. So that's really important. So as we wrap up, I want to just reiterate some key points. Work with your teachers to develop a plan that is going to be the most effective for your child. Please, we are here to collaborate. We're here to help. You know your child best. We want your child to succeed. We want to do what's right within the home setting. So working together is going to bridge that gap. It's going to create that homeschool connection. Creating structure and routine during learning hours. Again, I am not saying to run a regimented schedule your whole entire day. I think it would be most beneficial to have a schedule during those learning hours so that it can create consistency, predictability, and promote that on-task behavior. You'll see that in time, give it a week after you teach that visual schedule, after I can help you, your teacher can help you, running that visual schedule, you're going to see a tremendous difference for that on-task behavior. Offering choice, Johnny, did you want to do your math worksheet or did you want to do your math Zoom today? Did you want to do IXL? Offering choice, providing frequent movement breaks, and reinforce to motivate your child. You know, offer those breaks after that child does their work. You know, we all need breaks, and it's no different for a child. And again, I said this before, but reinforcement doesn't have to be food. I am not saying to feed your child cookies every 5 seconds. It can be your child's favorite TV show, outside time, playtime, trains, cars, Play-Doh, sensory bins. We always want to praise our students for doing positive work. So whenever you're giving that playtime or movement time, I want you to praise your child. I love how you did your work. Here's your toys. You did a great job listening to Miss Sarah. I love how you did your work. You know, you could just go on and on and on. But remember, doesn't have to be food. It doesn't have to be iPad. It can be outside time. It could be whatever your child, whatever is going to motivate your child. And lastly, getting to the last points. This is not a one size fits all. So I presented different strategies to you. The strategies that I'm going, that I recommend are great strategies. They're very vague, they're good. They're a good starting point. But not all children are going to respond to the same strategy the same. So if you're feeling that some of these strategies need to be tweaked a little bit, or we need to tailor it or individualize it more to your child, reach out to your teacher, behaviorist, or case manager. We will support you. We will tailor these strategies and individualize them even more to meet the needs of your learner. So again, as I said, I'm here for you. Your teachers are here for you. Your case manager is here for you. I want you to remember that this is all about collaboration and teamwork. This is about providing, those strategies in the home, creating that workspace environment, limited distractions, creating that structure and routine, and getting to know how your child learns and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And once we fine tune that, I feel like we're going to see a tremendous difference with that on-task behavior during the remote learning. So again, reach out to your teacher, behaviorist, or case manager. Any questions at all, we're here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys listening. And I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but again, reach out. We're here to help.